Titrating polyprotic acids. Titrating polyprotic acids can be a bit tricky, but we need to look at the jumps or at the equivalence points in the titration curve. So the number of equivalence points in a titration curve will determine will determine the type of this polyprotic acid, whether it is a diprotic or triprotic. So in this given graph, we have two equivalence points. So we are dealing with a diprotic acid. Okay? So we have two ionization steps. Now in weak acids or polyprotic acids, we are always concerned to know the equivalence point and to know the pKa of every step. So here is the first equivalence point over here. So this equivalence point is pH at equivalence is determined when we have 1 mole of OH minus added. In order to determine the half equivalence point and finding the pKa, we take half of this amount. So half of 1 is over here, or you can look, half of this quantity is over here. And at this point of the curve, this is the first pKa. Now, if I want to determine the second pKa, I look at the second equivalence point. The second equivalence point is over here. But we don't look at half of 2. From the first equivalence point to the second equivalence point, we take half the quantity. And half the quantity is a point over here. And this is how we determine the second pKa. So here the second pKa is almost 9.69.